Today we talk about the Sumo Deadlift. It is a wider stance position than conventional. If you have not checked out conventional deadlift, make sure you check it out below. I have a link posted for that. Very important that you understand conventional first before you touch the Sumo Deadlift. Okay? The Sumo Deadlift requires a lot of inner groin length, glute strength, and a specifically wide position, really wide position. Some sumo lifters start mid stance, some go really wide, even all the way up towards the ends of the bar. Just depends on your mobility. Either way, it's important to train both styles of deadlifts because you want to get strong in as many ranges of motion as possible. Your sumo will help your conventional will help your sumo. They complement each other, so don't neglect one because you feel like you're really good at one. And you don't want to do the other one that seems too difficult, okay? They both complement each other. They both give you freedom and movement. That is the most important thing for every human being to strive for, is freedom. So that is the whole purpose of Sumo Deadlift, is to create strength in a wide position. If you are a taller individual, taller athlete, not quite ready for conventional because it's too long of a way to come down, Sumo is a good position for you. If you have longer legs than you do a torso, then it's also a good idea to start in a Sumo Deadlift position. There's less pressure on your lumbar spine, your lower back, okay? Or if you simply just don't have the mobility yet to be able to drop into a conventional stance and do your deadlift from there, Sumo or mid stance is still a good idea for you, okay? So from here, we're gonna go into a couple different things about deadlifting. We'll go into first the hinge, then from the hinge, we'll talk about how to drop into position by taking the slack out of the bar and how to actually lift the barbell. So as we all know, if you do any compound movement, period, it's important to understand how to brace properly through your midline. There's already a video about bracing for compound movements. Make sure you check that out in the link below. Okay, check that out first. You'll also get a good review of bracing from the conventional deadlift video as well. Now, bracing in the context of deadlifting is very important, rather than just understanding how to brace, period. But today I'm just gonna do a quick review on how to brace from the top, and then we'll talk about how to hinge and do the next step. So first, before I even go into that, let's talk about stance, okay? So where do you need to actually stand for Sumo Deadlift? So this is conventional. If you walk up to the bar, your feet are about shoulder width apart. Sumo, you can start by testing the range of motion where you're in between these two seams. So your shin's between this seam and this seam. If that is not challenging enough, I'd recommend trying to get to this seam right here. This is where I typically Sumo Deadlift for myself. If you can't, then go about midway between those seams. So I'm gonna go here for me, same with this side as well. I like to have about a slight point out, like 30 degrees, to get lots of torque and twist to the floor in this position. So while I'm here doing my thing, I'm gonna start to twist the floor by thinking the base of the big toe and my heel have to be my points of contact. I'm gonna begin to twist. You can see my arch get active. And then if you pan up to my knees, you can see my knees being turned out as a result, okay? Very important to understand this position, okay? If you don't get this stance down, if you lose this sensation, you've pretty much lost the movement pattern, okay? So that is your stance. Twist the floor, hold this position. You should feel your glutes. You should feel your hamstrings a little bit. You'll feel a reciprocal pull on your groin. But that's not what you're looking for. You're not trying to focus on your groin or your hamstring. You're trying to focus on the twist of your glutes right now. So really feel that out. That's step one. Now, let's go into bracing. So when you brace for position, it's important to understand you want to get air in through as many places of your diaphragm and your midline as possible. So I recommend breathing out into your ribs first because that's the place that most people don't breathe into. No one really breathes this way. They just kind of just go out or up here in their chest. So make sure you breathe, expand your ribs first, and then start expanding out this way, and even through your lower back. That's a full breath, okay? Then when I hold it, I'm not just holding my breath and just tightening up my neck. I'm actually focusing on bracing and engaging certain muscle groups. So after I fill up, as much air as I can, I'm holding it and I'm thinking first, Kegel really hard, pull my obliques in really tight, pull my upper abs in as solid as possible, okay? Here I'm braced. I'm not thinking about holding tension through here. I'm holding my breath here around my midline. Very, very important to understand, okay? Also, another important thing to remember, before you even take your breath, I recommend giving yourself a bit of a Kegel first. Pull up a little bit to get some tension on there. Breathe, then reinforce it. Kegel really hard, pull in really tight. If you don't get that down, you won't feel what you're supposed to feel, okay? So you got the twist, you got the brace. So now we talk about the hinge. That's the first step. If you don't know how to hinge properly, don't even bother trying to lift the bar, okay? So you're in a stance to hinge. One of two ways you can do it. One would be to take your arms back like you're about to jump. One would be to put your hands in front of you. I like, for myself, I like going this way. If you don't quite understand it, we'll go hands up. So I go hands back, and I push my hip bones as far back as I can. I squeeze my blades down towards my hip pockets and together to retract to get into my hinge. This is my hinge position, okay? If I were to bring my hands back to the center, where I actually grab the bar, I should not let go of my shoulders. I should be retracting my blades down towards the hip pocket and together. Chin follows suit, I'm still twisting the floor. This is my hinge position. If I'm here, I can easily get to the barbell as need be, okay? That's how you hinge. So we are in stance again. We've already gone over the hinge, which is going really, really far back this way. Either your arms go back behind you or your hands are in front. And you scoot your butt as far back as you can from your hands, whichever way you prefer. Now, when you're ready to actually take the slack out of the bar, we have to understand what the purpose of taking the slack out of the bar is in the first place. So taking the slack out of the bar is for the purpose of dropping your shoulder down towards your hip pocket. See, my whole shoulder drops, but also retracting it back into the spine, okay? That's what taking the slack out of the bar means. So when we say break the bar, which is a common cue you hear in the powerlifting world, you break the bar for the purpose of getting the shoulder down. But you have to also pull up on the bar or pull back on the bar to squeeze your blades together into the spine. It's very, very important to understand. That's what you're trying to create at the barbell. So, starting up here, twisting the floor really hard, I'm going to my hinge, and once you grab the bar, y'all, after you've gotten the hinge, make sure that you're not collapsing your knees inward. At this point, we see most people collapse their knees inward because they're not twisting the floor anymore. They just think, they can get comfortable here. So twist really hard, as tight as you can. I even like to check my knees and kind of push them out a little bit. Get a little warm up here. Twist, twist, twist. Keep everything solid. I sink my body to the bar, but I don't drop my butt into a squat. Okay? I stay in a hinge and I grab the bar at these seams right here. Grab and I grab. Okay? Once I get here, notice I'm not just like letting myself loose and hanging out. Because once you do that, again, you've lost tension. You gotta keep slack out of your system for as long as you can. So if I'm up here to reset, I hinge, go way back, twisting the floor still. Once I grab the bar, I break, and watch what happens to my shoulders. When I break the bar, they go down towards my hip pocket, and then I twist the floor even harder, okay? So down towards hip pocket, I twist even harder. Now, after I've twisted or broken the bar and dropped my shoulder, watch what I do to move my blades back. So I'm here, twist. That sound you hear is me actually trying to pull up to squeeze my blades together. So I go shoulder towards hip pocket, shoulders together, twist the floor harder. That's taking the slack out of the bar, okay? And if Nikki, you come around and pan to my back, my upper to mid back, you can see this. I break, shoulders go down, I go up and squeeze. That's you really trying to fight for position. If you don't fight for position, you won't be able to transfer force properly through the ground, okay? Now, once you take the slack out of the bar, then you have to understand how to use that to drop your hips in position, okay? So if I'm here, and I break, and I pull. As I'm doing it, watch my hips. They begin to go back and down as I intensify everything. I twist, 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 and now I'm ready to lift. On the way down, I'm still keeping my braces, staying tight. Go back to my hinge, twist, twist, twist. Nice sink back to position. So when you think about sumo deadlifts, or any deadlifts for that matter, bracing the top or bottom is purely preference. I prefer people brace from the top and then get more air in at the bottom before they actually lift the bar. So what does that mean? If I'm here, I fill up. I already have Kegel on to some degree. Fill up to my ribs. Front, back, and then I just brace. Everything's solid, go to my hinge. Twist in the floor. I take more air in. Then brace even harder. And then I take the slack out of the bar, sink my hips. I let my air out at the top, and I re-brace here. That's how I like to do it. I like to go big brace at the top, come to the bottom, and I hold it. I'm holding it as I come to the bottom. I'm holding that brace. Take more air in here, re-brace, and then I go. Now it's important that whenever you actually make contact with the bar, with your hands after you've braced, and when you're breaking the bar and you're taking the slack out, that you're reinforcing your brace too. What that means is you're getting tighter through your obliques, tighter through your Kegel, tighter through your upper abs, and you're not just kind of hanging out with your shoulders, okay? So everything gets tighter and tighter and tighter. There's no slack in the system. If you just brace at the top and let go of it, you've lost the whole point of the movement. Try to break here, I'm kind of loose, my lower back starts to do all the work. So it's very, very important that you brace hard. The top, Kegel really tight, get more in, get even tighter, and then you go into position, okay? It's really important that you do that. Now, one thing that's not talked about commonly within strength and conditioning, whether it's powerlifting, whatever it is, it's understanding that the lats and the obliques need to tie in together. So when your lat fires, it should drop down towards your hip pocket, but specifically towards your obliques when you're firing up. So when you're reinforcing your brace, when you're taking the slack out of the bar, that's what you're trying to create. So you get here, you brace, nice and tight, you feel your obliques a little bit here. When you grab the bar and you break, I should reinforce my obliques harder and harder and harder and harder before I lift that bar off the ground. Okay? And that's not only just me breaking the bar by setting my shoulders down, but it's also me pulling up to squeeze my blades back. Those two things should reinforce with this, and not just with this, with the entire midline. So you have to really practice this over and over until you get it. So once you get it, you'll feel a lot more powerful. So from top to bottom, bottom to top, here we go. Take some airs out. And that's how you sumo deadlift. So for more videos like this, guys, and make sure you check out our Train Life Fit channel. Hit subscribe, hit the like button. Until next time, peace.